Well, I'm joined now by Nabila Ramdani, a Paris-born writer who specialises in Islamic affairs and the Arab world. Nabila, now, Charlie Hebdo has a history of being very irreverent or trying to be provocative. How do you read its motives here?
Well, it's clearly, in my opinion, provocative journalism. Let's not forget that Charlie Hebdo is the very magazine which republished in 2005 the controversial Danish cartoons, which were viewed as deeply offensive to not only Muslims in Europe, but indeed around the world.
So it could have predicted trouble.
Very much so. And if you put the content of the magazine in the context of Islam in France, this was clearly designed to cause maximum offense. You are talking about a country which hosts 6 million Muslims, the largest Muslim community in Europe, where Muslims experience discrimination on a daily basis in every walk of life, including job, housing, education, and indeed religious expression. The magazine is very much in the knowledge that reproducing the image of the Prophet is against Islamic law.
The magazine, of course, says it's trying to draw attention to what's happening with the Arab Spring, the rise of Islamist parties, the possible implementation of Sharia law in countries like Libya or Tunisia. So it says it was trying to draw attention to matters that need to be debated.
But it's a very serious message that the magazine is trying to send, which means that Islam is indeed incompatible with democracy. That's the underlying message by putting the emphasis on...
But Islam can be questioned, is what it's trying to say as well.
Yeah, very much so. And I think at the heart of it all is the central issue of freedom of speech and what we should and should not be allowed to say in the name of freedom of speech. Now, the Interior Minister made it clear that, all the French should feel sympathy for Charlie Hebdo because it's a sacred freedom in France to be able to express, what you want. Now, it has to be pointed out that this very same Interior Minister is the same person who described Islam as a problem in France. It also has to be pointed out that France has very strong laws against, outlaws Holocaust denial. It outlaws any anti-Semitic behavior. Now, one should wonder why these laws cannot be extended to protect Islam from the same kind of behavior, the same kind of criticism. We're not talking about light-hearted jokes.
Sure,
we're talking about an attempt to...
That point can be made without physical assault, without physical attacks, let alone firebombing.
Absolutely, and one should not condone in any circumstance law-breaking, especially arson in heavily populated areas where lives could have been put at risk. That's a serious criminal offence. But it still has to be pointed out that when rights of other minorities are protected, one wonders why these very same principles should not be extended, cannot be extended to essentially a magazine's attempting to rubbish a religion and what it stands for.
Nabila, we have to leave it there, but thanks very much for coming into the studio.